Okay, we are live. Let me make sure my sound is right. All right, all right. We are in the live stream. Let's get some more people into the live stream. Let's go. This is current exposure. Um, Dealing with the noisiest neighbors ever. I have neighbors in the front blasting their music to no end, neighbors in the back blasting their music to no end. They just have no consideration, none whatsoever. Um, you would think they would invest in headphones, some beats or something. But anyway, we have a very different show this evening. Something that affects a lot of families too, believe it or not. We have on, we're going to bring on Q. She is the host of Answers with Quovella, and she interviewed a lot of the people who were running for office in the city of Newark. And she's actually an adoptee. Um, I'm going to bring her on so she can tell her story. People get into the comments. I ask that you be respectful and open-minded and ask your questions. Ask your questions in your comments, but let's make this a mature conversation. We're all out of politics mode and competition mode. Let's talk about real life issues, things that our families go through every day. So, without keeping you any longer, I would like to bring on Quovella Wilson. Hello, Q.
Hey,
Thank you
how
for
are you,
being patient.
Shakima?
I am well. How about yourself?
I'm good, 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 good. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for
You're
having
very
me
welcome.
on your show
Yeah.
on tonight.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thank you for
Current
coming on.
exposure.
Yes, thank you for coming on and having the courage to share your life story because this is about your life. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely. This
yeah,
is um this is very major to me because me actually having the courage, right,
yeah.
to talk about my story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so many times I have felt somewhat embarrassed and shamed about it. But on the flip side, I look at it now as a blessing,
Okay.
right? I look at
Can
it
I
as a
ask?
blessing.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can I ask you why you felt embarrassed initially? Like, could you explain that to us? Because I
I
don't think
felt
it's anything to be embarrassed about unless it's what other people are saying or doing to make you feel uncomfortable.
right. I think I felt like that because I won't say think. I felt like that because a lot of times people are ignorant to the fact
Mhm.
of being adopted, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's a similar of being adopted as you were abandoned, right?
Okay.
You were an outcast and somewhat being overlooked. And a
Okay.
lot of times, if people are ignorant to it, sometimes you would receive negative reactions concerning it.
Okay. Okay.
So I got to the point in life in knowing who I am, right?
Mhm.
And not caring about what others thought because it's my testimony and it's my story,
Okay.
right? A
Yes.
lot of times you don't want to be offensive, right, to
Mm-hmm.
others, but you have to look at it as it's not their story, it's not their testimony. That is something that you went through,
Right.
right? And you
Right.
overcame.
Right. Wow. Wow. Yeah. You're actually giving me some insight. So I'm going to learn a whole lot from you. And you're going to open my eyes up to some things from your perspective that I haven't considered, because my son is not my biological son. I didn't carry him. Someone else did.
Okay.
So but his story is a little different from yours, but also the same in the sense of being chosen
Exactly.
and
And that's
planned.
a yep, yep, yep. And that's how Shakima, you have to look at it as um you are the chosen one. You can't look at it as I'm an outcast, I'm different, right? Because you
Mm-hmm.
have people, as you stated, they may have carried someone for 9 months and really not necessarily a parent to that person,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it
Right.
doesn't necessarily have to do with um
Or they can't be a parent. It was a same sex relationship, just to let you know.
okay, okay. But you can't look at it as, just because I carried this person for 9 months, um that I'm that person's parent, because someone that may not as yourself carried your son, you can have a closer relationship
I love
with.
them to death.
Right. You can have a closer relationship with that child. Your family doesn't necessarily have to be, and a lot of times we don't choose our family biological, right?
Right.
We
Right.
don't choose our family. Family is someone that has a relationship with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I can meet someone today or tomorrow and feel closer to them than I do my own biological family,
Right. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
it's the relationship that you have
Yes.
with that person,
Yes.
right? You can have
Yes.
a child, right? And just like with my testimony, you can have a child and was not actually birthed from the mother, but feel closer to those, that family that raised you,
Right. Right.
right?
Right. And that's the insight that I love that you're bringing to this. And I also want to get into with your situation too. You had no idea. You were 3 months old, right?
That's correct. I was 3 months when I was chosen to be in my family,
That's a little cute right
right?
there.
The Wilson family. And I look at it as I was chosen to be in my family with them,
Right.
right? I had no idea of who my birth mother was, right? Didn't know her name. I knew the last name, right? But anything else, I didn't know nothing about her or my biological family until I sent away for my original birth certificate. And that
Mm-hmm.
was like years and years later.
So wait, so did you even know you were adopted or feel like you were adopted?
Okay, very good question. Um,
Because you were
I
adopted at 3 months, so it's like you these people knew you since you were pretty much born. Well, your family, I'm sorry, I'm like these people, excuse me for that. Your family knew you right when you were born.
right,
And
pretty much
so,
coming out the womb, right?
right. So, did you ever feel like,
I can go into that. I really, to be honest with you, Shakima, I had no idea. Of course, I didn't at 3 months, right?
no, I mean, like at
Um,
5 or 6 or 7 when you're
right.
out playing, did you
So
ever say, hey,
how I always felt in a sense that I was different. And what I mean
okay,
by different, um, my family, right, that adopt me, it was I had four siblings, right? Four
hmm,
sisters and one brother. So I
okay,
felt in a sense there was something because most of all of my sisters and brother was like it was an age difference,
okay, a huge
right?
age difference?
It was a huge age difference,
Okay,
right?
okay,
And then I also felt because even though you have siblings that it doesn't really, just because of an age difference, it doesn't mean that you're adopted, right? But I always felt like there was some type of difference, right?
okay,
So that was number one. And then number two, I felt because of my complexion, right?
okay,
Most of my sisters are fair skinned, right?
okay,
So I felt that. But it came to the light that I was because even though I was with my family, the Wilson family, since I was 3 months, I didn't get legally adopted until I was 5.
okay,
So when my last name was Miles, right?
mm-hmm,
So when my name changed, my sister, I was 5. So my sister had said that I was going to be legally adopted.
oh, so she said this out loud, and that's when
Right. She
you
came
pretty
to me
much
and
knew.
told me.
But other than the age difference, would other than you hearing your sister say that, did you feel that you were adopted when you were young, or you just really had no clue what
Not
was going on?
necessarily. I just
Okay.
kind of felt like at a young age that there was a difference somewhere.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then later on, people would, the chitter chatter, people would say, just come out, right? Not knowing if my parents discussed it with me, not knowing if anyone discussed it with me. People
Right.
would ask, well, I wouldn't even say ask. They would make comments like, oh, she's the adopted one
Wow, as a child. So you
as
would
a
hear stuff
child,
like that.
right? So I already knew per se, right? But
Okay.
then later on in life, right, I would hear people say or identify me as being the adopted one.
Now, did your parents talk to you, your Wilson parents talk to you about this before you heard people chattering about it? Or like, did
No, I think really um that they was probably going to talk to me after I got of a certain age.
Okay.
Right. So, and I wouldn't say that they kept it from me. I think that they was going to discuss that with me after I got maybe age enough to understand per
Okay.
se. But my sister, my oldest sister, who Linda, she had came to me and told me this, and she told me that she was sharing it with me
Mm-hmm.
because of the name change.
Okay.
So I was going to go to school, and she was saying, well, your name was Miles for this length of time, right? So now you're going to be legally adopted. And she shared that with me.
Oh, okay. So, how old were you when she shared that with you?
I was 5. That's what I
Oh,
was,
five.
3
Okay.
months.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Wow.
granted, I
Mm.
don't believe that my sister meant any harm or anything like that, right? I think she was just
Okay.
sharing with me, letting me know that there was going to be a name change.
Okay.
But
And
being
how?
5 years old, right?
Right.
That was a lot because I really didn't understand. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't
So,
really know what really being adopted was.
right. And how old was your older sister? Was she a
Um,
teenager or an
like I
adult?
said, my siblings they are like 15 to more age,
Okay.
15 or so difference in the age
Okay.
difference.
Okay.
So, and she was actually, God bless her soul, she's no longer here,
Oh,
but
I'm
she has
sorry to hear
always
that.
been a mother figure to me. So I
Okay.
believe that she was just sharing that with me, but
You still didn't know anything what it meant. You were
I
just
didn't
like,
know what
okay,
adoption
whatever.
was. I had no idea. Like I said, I just, it was a caseworker sometimes would come by the house, to talk to me because I was still under foster care,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but I had no idea what adoption really was.
Now,
Probably
what?
if I knew, right, what
Mm-hmm.
it was, I probably would have looked at it a little different.
Okay. Now, did you ask your parents questions about why is this caseworker here? Who is this? Why do they come certain times?
Well, to be honest with you, the caseworker, I remember her name to this day. Her name was
Really?
Miss, yep, her name was Miss Berry. Um, I just looked at it was somebody coming by just to talk to me, you
Okay.
know, and it was so, she was such a nice person that I would look for her to come because she
Okay.
was
Wow.
so nice and friendly and embracing and stuff like that. I remember she used to come with they had the state on the car, letting you know that it was a state car.
Okay. So did you
So
just pretty much thought, okay, this is our visitor who normally comes and sees us.
right,
Okay.
right. But I didn't, as time went by and as time developed, I began to embrace it,
Okay.
and um I believe in this story, right? Because people can be cruel. People,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
people can say some
Very
mean
cruel.
things. Some may mean harm, some may not, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to get to the place in knowing who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? Knowing who I am. Um, and realizing that my parents chose me,
Wow. Wow.
right? They
Wow.
chose me. Um, and I just had to get to that point and forgetting about the negativity, forgetting about being embraced, forgetting about being accepted, right? Because I had to realize that you can be birthed in a family and may not necessarily be accepted in the family that you was birthed in.
Right.
So I
Which,
had to
yeah.
get delivered out of my own mind and feeling like, I'm an outcast or I'm abandoned because
Mhm.
of that.
Right. And actually, you weren't even abandoned.
Exactly.
Let's get into that story. Let's yeah, because let's get into what led to you even going into foster care to be adopted. That's the
Um,
twist.
Shakima, to tell you the truth, I want to uh give give a salute my immediate family, right? I have to, because who I am today is because of the Wilson family,
Awesome.
right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Even uh yes, my biological mother birthed me, right? But if the Wilson family, right, didn't take me in, I would not have any foundation. You understand? Because
Right.
being um under foster care, right?
Yeah.
That's all I really know. I don't even really remember at before 3 months, even I wasn't like from foster care to this home, to that home, to that
Right.
home, to this home. I was brought right out of, whether it was the hospital, whether it was out of the
Mhm.
foster home, right into a blessed home, right?
Yeah, it was a happy situation.
Right, right. Everybody have their no family is perfect, right?
Right. Right.
Everybody have their ups and downs, but I can say that I am a blessed individual. That's why I can now stand proud to tell my story. Because Shakima, there was times that I didn't want to tell nobody that I was adopted because I felt like embarrassed, shamed, uh,
Wow.
different things that people have said.
Mhm.
Oh, she's
Mhm.
adopted. I even went to a a family reunion, and
Uh-huh.
someone had said, I told them who my father was, right?
Uh-huh.
Abraham Wilson. And they actually said to me, "Are you the adopted one?" And I'm like,
Wow.
I looked at it as like, that's not nothing to really say. But then I also did a twist on it to say, well, you know what? I'm not going to take that as an insult. I am the chosen one. I
Right.
am the one that's carrying my father's name,
Right.
right? And being adopted, you have, see, a lot of people are ignorant to the word adoption. Being adopted, you have all rights,
Uh-huh.
right? As any of the other children that was birthed in that family. Let's be
Oh,
clear,
really? Okay.
right? Being
Yeah.
adopted, when you are legally adopted, and when you carry that family's name, right? Your family's name, you have all rights and privileges as anybody else in the family.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So going it back into your question,
How
you wanted to
how did you? Yep. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
you wanted to know how did I come
Get
across.
get into how did you get into foster care to being adopted? What led up to that? Do you,
Well,
well, if you
I
feel
did
comfortable
not,
talking about it.
as I said, Shakima, I did not have a history of being into a foster.
Well, I mean the transition from your birth mother to the
Okay.
Wilson family.
So my mom, Clarissa Wilson, right? My mom that raised me, she actually, my father told me the story. She actually wanted, as I stated, she had four daughters already,
Okay.
right? So she wanted another daughter.
Okay.
And I thought that was such a blessing because, as I shared with you, all of them are already grown.
Okay. They were adults.
They were pretty much like in their uh 20s,
Uh-huh.
right? Maybe in their late teens.
Okay.
So I was a foster child in the home. She wanted children. So you have to start out as a foster child,
Okay.
right? So I was with them as a foster child at 3 months. Now, in between time,
What
from
happened before 3 months? That's what I want to
right
get to.
now, from my understanding, right, I was left in the hospital
Mm.
at before 3 months.
Okay.
Now, granted, my birth mother, right, she was only 15.
Okay.
So being 15,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being 15, I'm sure there probably was all types of things going through her head. She may have been scared. She had to listen to her mom. Maybe she was pulled. I don't know what was going through her mind, right?
Right.
At 15 years old. But prior to 15, at being at 3 months, I have no idea. I was told I was in the hospital. So being in the hospital, you actually in the system.
Mm-hmm.
You're
So
not
you
with your biological family.
okay.
You're in the system. You belong to the system.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So let's get into these comments. Yolanda says, thanks for covering this topic. It's very necessary. And she said, Q, we probably wouldn't have crossed paths if the Wilsons wouldn't have brought you home. And she said, your mom, your biological mom here was pretty.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. I do look at it as it's not a sad story.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, a lot of times when you say adoption, people look at it, that's my biological brother. People look at it as, oh, poor them. Oh,
Right.
your mom didn't want you. Guess
Mm-hmm.
what? I believe that she did the best that she can do at that age.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
And even more, your mom showed you how much she wanted you because she came looking for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We was looking for each other. We were looking for each other. And that's another thing I want to bring out, Shakima, that even though I never wanted for anything. You know, when I say
Mhm.
never wanted for anything, I was always in a great home, um,
Mhm.
had a great foundation. I look at it as a blessing. Um, but I still felt that a longing to know who was
Who
my
created?
biological mother, right? and
Right.
and granted, I don't think that should be looked at as a bad thing. Everybody
Mhm.
should know their history,
Yeah.
right? There was times I felt like, oh, I don't want to offend anybody or what have you. Granted, I don't care how many people I may meet in my biological family, right?
Mhm.
I would never, ever, ever, ever forget about the Wilson family. Let's be clear.
Mhm.
They did something for me that words cannot even
Describe.
describe. You know, I remember somebody said to me, you know, somebody's feeling some kind of way because you connected with your birth mother or your birth family. I'm like, how?
Mhm.
How could you feel some kind of way that I connected? Actually, my father wanted me to meet my birth mother.
Nice. Nice.
He didn't, he
Yes.
never felt no kind of, and even though my mom, Clarita Wilson, she passed away when I was 10, right?
Sorry to
I, bel-
hear
I
that.
yeah, so thank you. Even if she was living, I felt like she wouldn't have felt no kind of way.
Absolutely.
You cannot feel no kind of way because someone wants to know their history and where they came from. A lot of
Wow.
times people feel jealous, like, oh, I don't want them to take, I don't want their biological family to take them away. I, how? I'm like real grown. And even if
Yeah.
I was a child, they could never, ever take the place of the Wilson family.
Right. I
You
feel you.
understand?
Yes, I completely understand.
I met my biological mom uh like on her deathbed.
Let's talk about that. How did she find you? Well, how did you all connect?
Okay, so we connect. My name never changed, right? The name she gave me never changed.
Your first name.
My first name. So she remembered that my name is Quovella, right? So Facebook, right? There are
Hmm.
some great things that come from Facebook. I was
Absolutely.
looking, I was looking for her. That's why I sent away from my original birth certificate,
Okay.
right? Years went past. My birth certificate actually got lost doing my relocation, right?
Okay.
So it was years went by and I never received my birth certificate until later on. So
Okay.
one day, I'm sitting at the library doing some research, right? I had a
Mm-hmm.
paper that was due,
Okay.
and I received a DM in my
And
in my
message.
DM, a
Right.
message. So my brother reached out and said, I know it's been a long time, but I'm your brother. And I'm saying, like, I hope nobody is like playing a game with me. So he was like, yeah, I'm your brother. He said, I was like, wait a minute. He said, yes, my mother name is Luella. So
Mm-hmm.
Luella was her name before she changed her name to Aaliyah.
Okay.
So I had to gather myself together, Shakima. I'm like, what?
Wait.
I'm typing, get this inbox out of nowhere. He like, I'm your brother. I said, no, no. I know after all these years, I'm thinking
And
I'm going to locate y'all through my birth certificate. But he reached out to me like, I'm your brother.
mm-hmm.
Our mother name is Luella, but her name now is Aaliyah. I'm like, is this for real? I had to really get myself together because I couldn't believe this.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I'm looking at him, looking all in his Facebook. I'm like, yeah, that is my brother because we do look alike. He just a lighter version of me. I'm like, yeah, that is my brother. So I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, that's him. I love him so much. But yeah, so I'm like, why didn't she call me?
Okay.
So he was like, well, she didn't know how you would, proceed or accept her. She didn't know. And granted, my brother, right, is only 2 years younger than me. He
Oh.
thought all of this time it was just him.
Oh, wow.
Shakima, nobody in the family knew nothing about me but her and her mother.
Oh, wow. So her sisters didn't even know, or does she have sisters and
She
brothers?
had sisters. They
So
was
they
all
didn't even know.
surprised.
Wow.
So my brother was like, I did not know. I'm thinking all this time it was just me. So I was like, well, why didn't she call me? I'm trying to get myself together. All kinds of thoughts running through my mind. I'm like, oh, wow, I've been looking for her, but I'm really getting ready to meet her for real.
Oh, oh, oh.
Right? So my brother, like, yeah, it's me. He was like, I'll give you my number and I'm gonna give you her number and y'all can talk, you know?
Mm.
So it happened, he gave me her number, but still in the midst of all of that, it was still like we wanted to meet each other, but we wasn't really ready.
Okay.
And
So was there like any type of mediator or you all to prepare each of
it
you
should
at
have
some point?
been.
Okay.
I think it should have been. Granted, years and years passed. You know what I
Okay.
mean? She was 15. Now she's an
Mhm.
adult thinking differently, right?
Right.
I don't, not a little girl anymore. You know, that baby that was in the hospital that you birthed.
Right. Right.
Years and years passed, but there was no mediator, right? And I
Okay.
felt like it should have been. I believe if it was a mediator, that we would have had a better connection, a better relationship,
Right. Right.
right? And what I mean
Right.
by that is, even though she didn't raise me, right? And I know it probably would have been it's different. Like I said, when a person, you may birth somebody, but if you didn't raise them, they're
Mm-hmm.
still, she has to learn me, I have to learn her. I'm pretty
Right.
much, we both are strangers to one
Right.
another. Even though she birthed me, we're pretty much strangers to one another. So, you know, it wasn't a mediator. We went through I wouldn't say it was the most uh pleasant type of meet and greet. Like I said, I met her. She was on her deathbed,
Oh
right?
yeah, let's talk about that
She
because
was she
you
was
didn't
pretty
even have
much
time to grow that relationship.
right. But granted, Shakima, I will say that God gave us 3 years.
Nice.
And what I mean by that, we connect over the phone. I lived in North Carolina at the time. She was
Mm-hmm.
in New Jersey. I didn't quite understand. I'm like, okay, you're meeting your daughter. You connect with your daughter that you had no, you didn't know. I didn't know you. You didn't know me. You know, I felt in a sense like I should see you. Like
Mm-hmm.
it should be some type of grand reunion for us, but it
Okay.
wasn't.
Okay.
Right? Um, I believe that a lot of unforgiveness was going on, right? Not really understanding.
Okay.
Um, I felt in a sense to be, and I'm being honest and I'm being transparent, like where were you? You know,
Okay.
I wasn't missing, you know, I was here. Where were you? When I felt that if there was a mediator, we could have enjoyed our relationship. She was trying to get to know me, I was trying to get to know her. So it was a lot of, I guess it was things going through both of our minds.
Right.
She didn't really necessarily understand. I didn't really necessarily understand.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm at the place that, we can't wait until we have to use the time that God gives us
Okay.
to embrace relationships that we was both looking for one another. Then when the time came that we met one another, it was like, are we really ready?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
interesting that you say that because you're looking and that's not even in your mind until you find each other. You're like, wait a minute. We didn't even prepare for this moment. We already had what we thought it was going to be in our mind versus the reality.
right. We wasn't ready, and when I say we wasn't ready, um it was just a lot of things. Like, you know, she asked me, it was a lot of unanswered questions.
Mm-hmm.
She asked me, when did I get legally adopted? And I told her, and she was like, wow, if I knew that, I would have came looking for you a long time ago. And then when she passed away, she kept the legal adoption papers. Like, my
Okay.
brother gave me those papers, and my brother was like, she kept these papers all this time. So I would not
Mm.
understand. And being a lot of times people are ignorant to the fact, well, your mother gave you up. Well, your mother, if she gave you up, she didn't want you.
But that wasn't what it
No,
was.
that
Yeah.
wasn't that wasn't what it was. And I'm not making any excuses, but guess what? At 15 years old, what do a
Yeah.
15-year
Right.
old know? A 15-year old
Absolutely.
have to do what their parents tell them to do.
Absolutely. Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So evidently, she didn't forget about me. She was looking for me. I was looking for her. But then when the time came, it was like, are we really ready for this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I
my
can
brother,
imagine.
he called me and he told me, he said, I just want to let you know that mommy is terminally ill.
Uh-huh.
And he told me that she had cancer. And I was like, I just froze, like, what? Even
Wow.
though, even though our relationship, right, Shakima, may not have been what I wanted and what I desired. I didn't want anything bad to happen to her. She's still my birth mother. You
Right.
understand? If it wasn't for her, and people like, oh, no, listen. I have to. That's why Mother's Day, I have to acknowledge her, just like I
Right.
acknowledged my other mom. Right?
Right.
God bless me
Yeah,
with
you
two
got
mothers.
two moms. Two moms.
So I have to acknowledge that.
You can't
I
go
have
wrong with
to
two moms.
acknowledge
I'm gonna
that.
tell you that. I think
So
a lot of people should have two moms. I'm
it's a
just saying.
blessing. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
blessing.
You get double
And
the
some people,
nurturing. Yeah.
some people look at it as, oh, her mother, I've heard people say this. Oh,
Mm.
her mom wasn't there. How could she acknowledge her? Why not?
Yeah. It's ignorance.
Why not?
And them not
Despite her not being there, guess what?
what?
God still used her to birth me.
Absolutely. And tell us what you found out about her in the community.
Oh my goodness. I found out in the community when I went to the funeral, right? A lot
Mm-hmm.
of things was going through my mind. She was a Muslim, right? She raised my brother up as a Muslim. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I went, like when my brother told me that she was terminally ill, right? I was like, listen, even though our relationship wasn't what it was, I don't want anything to happen without this chapter being closed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was down in North Carolina at the time, and I went to Jersey and stayed by her bedside until she passed away.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah.
man. Dad, you didn't tell me you was gonna come with the tearjerker. Oh my gosh. Oh, that so touching. Oh my gosh.
Stayed by her bedside. So listen,
You were the
Shakira,
last person she seen on this earth.
guess what?
Wow. Oh
Just
my
like,
gosh.
just like she birthed me into the world, and she was the first person that seen me.
Right. Oh my
I was the
gosh.
last person. Well, it was my brother,
Oh,
my aunt, right? I was the last person that seen her.
that was
And
heartfelt.
let me share
That
something
was
else.
heartfelt. That hit me. Oh, I'm listening.
In Beth Israel Hospital, where I was born, her last breath was in
Mm.
Beth Israel Hospital, where I was born. Who could orchestrate that but God? Hey, Shalabasikiarabasete, excuse me. But who can orchestrate that but God?
Mm.
I'm talking
That's deep.
about
That's
she
deep.
was the first person that seen me, and I was one of the last people that seen her. I could have said, I ain't going up there. She wasn't there for me. I'm not made like that. I still
Mm.
have a heart.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Granted, I would God gave us 3 years. I really wish and I thought about that. I was like, I really wish those 3 years that God gave us was better, right?
Okay.
But guess what? The chapter was closed. He had her look into my eyes. I looked into her eyes. When I went to the hospital to see her, she passed 10 days later after I got to the hospital.
Mm.
10 days later. So it was meant for us to connect. It may not have been throughout my whole life, but it was
Mm-hmm.
meant. My journey was meant just the way it's supposed to be. God had me to be chosen, to be actually placed into the Wilson family, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a
Mm-hmm.
meant to be. Then years later on, I meet my biological family. Sometimes I say, well, I wonder how it really would have been. I'm sure I probably would have grew up a Muslim, right?
Right.
My brother
Okay.
went to an Islamic school, right?
Okay.
But God had it just the way he wanted it to be. Then when I went to the funeral, right? When I say the people, the Islamic community came out, the
Yes.
Islamic community came out.
Right.
They was like, your mother was somebody. She was great. She was, it was nothing that she wouldn't do for somebody. Let me drop something else on you, Shakima.
Mm-hmm.
She actually adopted two other girls.
Wow.
So I got to meet
Wow.
them at the funeral. And I was like, she adopted two girls. My flesh started acting up. She
You the
did what?
older sister. You the older sister though. You the big sister. You got to be the big sister. You went from the baby now the big sister.
So I'm like, she did what? She did what? But everybody was like, she was missing you. She adopted two other girls. I said, and then they was like, the little girl, we in the car, I'm riding with my brother. He was like, yeah, this is Quovella, this is mommy's oldest daughter. So they was like, yeah, mommy had you at 15. I was like, y'all know too much. Y'all know too much. Y'all know. Yeah.
Wow.
Y'all stay out of grown people's conversation. Y'all know too much. I was using my humor. But nevertheless, she was very active in the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so some of my traits, I am a person that loves people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I, I think that some of my attributes, is like hers. And people was coming to
Uh-huh.
me at the funeral. They was like, "Oh my goodness, you look just like her." And to hear that, I was like, that I'm blessed by that. I look at it as a blessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That God had me just where He wanted me to be when He wanted me to be. You know, I had to stop looking at it as, you know, I was abandoned. No, no such thing. You know, I was
Mm-hmm.
blessed. Who could say they had two moms?
Right.
Right? You know, God had me where He wanted me to be, when He
Mm-hmm.
wanted me to be. You know, who could say there are people, Shakima, that are still looking for their biological family?
Oh, wow.
Some people are still in foster care after foster care after foster care. Some people are never placed,
Oh,
right? Let me tell you
yeah.
something. Let me share something else with you. When I started searching for her,
Mm-hmm.
right? I found out that my files was sealed.
Okay.
So with people that may not know what does that mean when an adoptee files are sealed? That means no matter what, they can't be open. Once I
Even by the adoptee?
even
Even
by
by
the adoptee,
okay.
right? I was the one that was looking. So I
Right.
was like, maybe somebody, I knew people that worked in the offices. They was like, I'm sorry to tell you, but all we know is that your last name was Miles. I was like, well, I already knew that. Tell
Okay.
me something I don't know. You understand? Tell me
Right.
something I don't know. The papers, the case was sealed. So it being sealed, nobody could find out nothing.
Okay.
So God orchestrated for me to connect with her through Facebook. So
Good.
I was like, she said she put in my name because my name never changed. How she knew it was me, she said I had a cover picture and it had two adoptees, foster kids. Like that's my passion. And I
Okay.
was promoting foster care and adoption. So
Oh, wow.
she put that together, and then she said that I favor, the Miles family. So she put it
Okay.
all together, and that day she told my brother, and he was like, he had nerve enough. He didn't have to call me or reach out to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did. I was like, why? I wanted to know, like, why didn't she call? But you have to I try to step outside myself, put myself in her shoes, right? Which,
Okay.
to say, well, ain't no telling what was going through her mind. She didn't know if I would receive her, would not receive her. She didn't know nothing about
Mm-hmm.
me. She knew nothing about me. And I knew nothing about her but her last name. But to this day, Shakima, I have no ill feelings. Like whatever I was feeling, I don't feel anymore.
Okay.
I realized that it's a blessing to be an adoptee. I am chosen.
Mm-hmm.
God chose me. He selected me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I could have been from foster home to foster home, foster care to foster care. I could have been
Right.
in a family that was abusive. I didn't
Right.
have that story.
Right. And
Right.
you really were in foster care like that. You just went through the process
I
because
wasn't.
yeah.
I wasn't. I don't remember, and I'm glad I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? God had it
Somebody
so.
says, can your biological mother sing like you?
From my understanding, I did ask that question. I did ask that question. I did. I wanted to know. I'm like, Are y'all musically inclined? What's
Where did
is
the
the
voice can't
Yeah,
come
I'm
from?
like, is the Miles musically inclined? From my understanding, it's no music. You know, my mom didn't sing, right? I got
Wow.
to give you some history. I got my musical gift. That's why um people say being raised
Uh-huh.
by another family different. You pick up attributes. You
Right.
pick up things like them, right?
Right.
My sisters, all four of them sing. They had a singing group. I
Oh,
was
okay.
3 years old in their rehearsals trying to sing
Okay.
and harmonize like them. So my musical gifts I picked up from the Wilson family,
Okay.
right? Um, yeah. So she wasn't a singer, but she was a community type of person. She was a community type of person. From my understanding, she loved people.
Okay.
I was impressed. I was impressed, and I'll say it to this day. How the Muslim community, the Islamic community came out for her funeral. They was like, your mom was, she was that community type of person.
Hmm.
I was like, wow, I didn't get to experience that, but nevertheless, others
It
did.
has to feel great knowing that your mom was a woman who cared and loved the community, though,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
who gave back.
Yeah, she gave back. She gave back. And, you know, granted, her decision, I look at it, it wasn't her decision. She had to do what her parents told her to do
Right. Right.
at 15 years old.
Right.
You know, from my understanding, you know, the Miles family was active in the community as well. You know,
Wow.
so having, you know, a child at that age and out of wedlock, that was a big thing in the community back then. So I don't look
Mm-hmm.
at it as like a bad thing. And
Mm-hmm.
and granted, you know, I haven't always felt like this. You know, I felt like, you know, kind of feeling some kind of way. Like, in a sense, I felt robbed. Like, my brother, we only 2 years apart. I didn't get to grow up as the older sister. He didn't
Okay.
know me, I didn't know him. But guess what?
What?
The Wilson family, my family, you know, lived right there on Clinton Place and Clinton Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother went to, that's why I said God does things when he wants to do it. He went to University High School
Okay.
right across the street. I told my brother, I said, I'm going to put some
Right
humor in this.
across the street.
I
Wow.
said, well, I'm glad I didn't run into you because we might have been dating.
Oh man. You don't want that. And that's a good point that you bring up and why people should know too. You
Exactly.
don't want to end up dating your relative.
Exactly. This is why I'm saying, I mean, I'm bringing humor because I do have a sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
I'm bringing humor in this, but guess
Right.
what? That's why you need to know who is who.
Yeah.
He went to school right across the street from where we lived at. Who's to say, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we could have met?
Mm-hmm.
Then I would be even more devastated.
Exactly. Exactly. Some Jerry Springer. Richard Bay type of
I'll be
stuff.
like, oh Lord, what the word? Oh Lord. But we didn't know, right? But nevertheless, I am so grateful um for where I am. I am
Mhm.
so grateful for the growth, right? I am so
Mhm.
grateful that there is no ill feelings on neither part. You know,
Yeah,
um,
that's good.
there's no ill feelings. I've even grown since she passed away. Like my
Oh,
mother, she didn't know. You can't hold against somebody what they didn't know,
right,
right?
right.
Say if we are held, somebody holds something against us that we really want forgiveness for,
Mhm.
right? Or we need forgiveness. She didn't know. We have to embrace people where they are, right?
Okay,
And love people for who they are.
right.
I met my grandmother for the first time at my mother's funeral.
Really? And what was that like?
It was a lot of things going through my head.
Ooh,
You understand?
yes,
Um,
yes, I understand it very well.
but again, I have no ill feelings, right?
Mhm.
You can't preach God and don't forgive. You can't preach God and don't love, right? For those
Okay.
that may not understand, oh, why, the Wilson family embraced her, the Wilson family raised her, the Wilson family loved her. Why did she want to meet her biological family? Why shouldn't I?
Right. Why not? Why
Why
not?
shouldn't I? Because
Why
if you would want to know, if you wanted to know who your biological family or your birth family is, I wouldn't hold that against you.
I would
We have
definitely
to
go look into.
we have to know that nobody can take our place when we love. Guess what? Nobody can ever, and I stress this. Anybody that knows me know when I love, I love. Even though I met the Miles family, they could
Mhm.
never, ever, ever take the place of the love I have for the Wilson family.
Right.
Anybody that knows me know I love, love, love my father and my mom.
Mhm.
And the same thing, I dropped what I had to do, what was going on in North Carolina, to be with my dad during his last days. I did the same thing for my birth mother.
Wow. You just out here spreading love to
I got
everybody.
you. You know why?
I
Because
like that though. I
what
like
I
that.
give, I want the same. I want people to do the same for me.
Right. I like
You
that though. I
understand?
like that.
I
Yes.
ain't listen. That's why I was able to forgive the way I forgive. Because I've done some things in my life that I want forgiveness for as well.
Okay.
So we cannot hold any type of ill feelings. Guess what? I tell people all the time, you can't hold that against me because I wanted to meet her. You know
I
your birth
agree.
mother.
I agree.
So why can't I know where I came from?
Absolutely.
You understand? So there's so much more to the story. I am actually, um, I have books in me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I am looking to publish, and being an
Okay.
adoptee is one of them. There is so much more that I can share and would like to share, but I know I can't share it within an hour or so.
I know that's right.
You
But
understand?
you are more than welcome to come back on with the book to promote the book. We have to have you on, and you have to let people know how to get the book, and
Well,
of
it's
course
not
we want to.
completed yet.
Okay.
We're in the process. I done already started writing. We're in the process of doing that.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely, I am blessed. I am a blessed chosen one. And I remember my birth mom, when we connect, she said, she was trying to get through my head. She said, "This is a blessing, Quovella. This is a blessing." And I'm just thinking, like, "No, where you been? Where in the world you been? You talk about this a black. No, where you been? That's what I want to know. Where you been all my life?" But God is great, and I am grateful for the things that He has done. I am grateful for being chosen. Yeah, and so now I am not ashamed of who I am. I am not ashamed of carrying, saying that I am an adoptee, right?
Okay.
My dad used to say, when you out in public, he said, you be mindful of how you act. He said, because you're carrying my name. So
That's
I am
what's
so
up.
proud. I am
That's what's
so
up.
proud to carry the Wilson name, right? And
Mm-hmm.
until my Boaz come, I'm going to continue. Even when he comes, I'm going to continue to carry the Wilson name, because it means so much to me. It means
Wow,
so
that's
much.
deep. That's
It,
deep.
it means it means it means a word. It means everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can I forget where I came from? I can't forget the foundation. I
Right.
cannot. People say, and people ask me all the time, like, uh, where did you get your gift of singing from? The Wilsons, because I sure did ask. I'm like, they made me and mold me. I
That's
can't
good
forget.
that they gave you values and love, and wow, that prepared you for life. That's good. And I'm happy that your story turned out that way. I appreciate you coming on to share this story, because I know it's not something that's easy to talk about, but I'm glad you're at that point where you could and you can give us the insight.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shakima, I don't think I'll go back as far as even 3 years, when I connected with my 3, 4 years when I connected with my birth mom. I probably
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to sit as strong as I am now to tell the story.
That's
Because
good
like I
though.
said, yeah,
You
you
said
know,
you
I
grew.
yes, growth and development. You know, I'm not gonna lie and say that um my reaction, that I wish my reaction possibly could have been different, right? But I
Mhm.
do believe that she knew, right, that I loved
Mhm.
her, because if
Mhm.
I didn't, I wouldn't have dropped everything. I wouldn't have came to the hospital. I wouldn't have sat there until you took your last breath, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, guess what? Granted, I lost some things. When I say I lost some things, I went through a lot of deaths in my family, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to be there.
Right.
I wanted to be there. And I felt like, you know what? I didn't get a chance to really spend my childhood with you, my teenage life with you. This is not the best state that I wish that we could have connected, right? I wish we could
Uh-huh.
have connected in a happier state. But I was glad that I was able to, be with her doing her last time on earth. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so
Yep. Yep.
before we get off of here, are there any words of encouragement or inspiration that you have for families who adopt and adoptees or relatives of those who are adopted? Do you have what can you let them
I,
know?
I would say be open. Be
Okay.
open to forgive. Don't wait until someone is not here anymore to show love, to show
Mm-hmm.
compassion. Be open. Be open. Realize that where you are is where you're supposed to be, right?
Okay.
Don't regret anything. Don't look back and say, God, I wish I could have, I should have did this differently. Show love. Show love. I preach love. I do my best in showing love. Show love. Show love. And to your family,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether it's through biological, whether it's through your family that raised you, show love and be open. Be open. If someone says to you, you know what? If you meet if you have a child that is adopted, and if
Mm-hmm.
they want to search for their biological or birth family, be open to that and
Right.
realize that you know
Right.
what,
I think that's very important to know
they
where
can't.
you came from.
Right, and it's very important to know where you came from, because guess what, when you go to the doctor,
That
the
too,
doctor
right?
asks you, is there
Yep.
any history of any illnesses?
Right.
You can say,
You're right about
well,
that.
this, that, or the other. Right? So it's very important that you know where you came from,
Yes.
right? And knowing the history. And when the time comes and God connects you, you're able to embrace that. You're able to embrace that. So I would say show
Absolutely.
love, show forgiveness, and just be open.
I like that message.
Be open, because my story is not somebody else's story. Your story is not my story. My story is
Mm-hmm.
not your story. We all have a story. But in our story, like you said, be respectful, be open, and be
Yes.
understanding.
Absolutely.
There are people, oh, I don't know why she want to meet her biological. Why not?
Right. Right.
Right?
Yep.
So yeah,
And
that's
we
that.
we have one last comment before we go. Yolanda says, needed to hear this live. I am not crazy after all. So you help some people out here
Well, to
with
God
telling
be
your
all the
story.
glory. Did
Thank
we have
you.
any other questions or comments?
Let's see. Let's see. We have, how did you feel when you found out nobody knew about you on your mother, your biological mother's side?
I felt like, dang,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I was hitting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to be nobody, and I talk about this all the time. If people follow me, they know I don't like to be nobody's secret,
Okay.
right? So I felt in a sense like, why why didn't you why didn't you share this? I wasn't not only was I robbed, but I felt like my brother was robbed.
Okay.
You understand? Like he didn't even know he had a sister.
Wow.
So I felt like, why was I hitting? But granted, I'll never know, right? Um, and that's okay. Um, what is important is that I'm not hitting anymore. Hey,
Yeah,
yes,
there we
Lord.
go.
I'm not
There we
hitting
go.
anymore. So, yeah, so that's how I felt, in a sense, your mind plays tricks on you. I felt like, you know, I was going through the abandonment and then I felt like rejected. So all of that pretty much
Mm.
played a part in me being a secret.
Okay. Okay.
Because if they don't know, it's a secret. I mean, you may not want that might sound a little it's no in between. It is what it is. If somebody don't know something, it is kept a secret for a reason.
Right.
I don't know, and I'll never know. I didn't know if she felt like she'll be judged or was she trying to hold things back because of her mom's sake. I don't know, but that's how I felt. Like, why why all this time? Because it was just 4 years ago. I'm real grown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Why all of this time nobody knew?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, thank you, Quovella, for coming on and being brave and sharing your story on the live stream with us.
Absolutely.
You're more
Absolutely.
than
Thank you
welcome
for
to come
having
back.
me.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
having me. I appreciate it. I feel free. I
Good.
feel no there is no bounds. Nothing is holding me. Like I can walk, freely and share my story. You know why? Because I'm not the only, and my father used to say this to me all the time. I'm not the only adoptee in the world. You know,
See, that's right.
my
He's
father used to
absolutely
just make
right.
it real plain to me. I'm not the only adoptee in the world.
There we go.
So
It's,
yeah,
it's not a
I
curse at
walk
all.
with pride. I am adopted. And I share my story. I know sometimes people, they speculate when they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now you know.
Yep.
There is no, you don't have to speculate anymore because I'm telling my story.
Absolutely. And you know what? This has been current exposure. I enjoyed the audience. Thank you, audience, for getting into the comments. Thank you, Quavella, for coming on. But we are out of time. And oh,
Thank you for
before we
having
go,
me.
you're welcome. April Terry Turner says, how could we reach you, Quavella?
You can reach me through social media.
Facebook. That
Yes,
good
I
old
don't
Facebook.
even know. I think some of my followers was probably actually looking for this live. But you can always reach me through Facebook. Amika, Amica Quovella Wilson. I don't know if Shakima, if you tagged me in this,
Let me
But
tag you. Hold on. I'll definitely tag you. All right. Oh, okay. It's going to go up there after I end the stream.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. So yeah,
yes,
reach
you will
out to
definitely
me.
be in here. And I will see you next time. I will see everyone. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me. All right.
You're
Take care,
welcome.
everyone. Thank you.
And peace.